Please welcome on stage from Northern Ireland, number 80 on the PDC Order of Merit. Yesterday, he celebrated a successful European Tour debut. It's Ironman Kevin Burness. And his opponent from Bradford, England, the winner of 2 Players' Championship events and a former European Championship semi-finalist. It's rockstar Joe Cullen.
A weekend so far in Copenhagen that has seen a number of astonishing contests, and perhaps none quite as astonishing as Kevin Burness's win yesterday against the 3-time world champion Glen Durrant. Somehow, the Ironman, on his debut on the European Tour, managed to win that game despite averaging 10 points less than his opponent. One sparkling checkout of 121 proved to be the crucial moment, and if he can summon up a little bit more magic, he could find his way through to the final day of action here at the Danish Darts Open. Kevin Burness is not a man who is used to playing on big stages. This, as I say, is the first time we've seen him on the European Tour.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, Kevin at throw first. Game on!
By contrast, Joe Cullen is very much at home on big stages of world darts, but he is on an alarming run of 6 consecutive defeats in PDC tournaments. If ever there was a good time to play Joe Cullen on the Euro Tour, it might be today. Paul Nicholson alongside me for the Rockstar and Ironman fighting out for a place in the 3rd round.
So that notion, Dan, do you think it was the right time for him to have a break in early June? He went on holiday with the family, looked at the social media feeds, and there was lots of smiles and relaxation. But based on what happened before that holiday, you got to think that was probably the right time for him to just go away and forget about darts for a week or so.
Well, you're a better placed person than I to comment on that. I mean, when players do go through bad bits of form, we see somebody like Michael Smith will try and play through it. He will practice and practice and practice and practice for, 8 hours a day and try and work his way around. Simon Whitlock, whom we've just seen, local tournaments, playing every single day. That's what he does, tries to graft to turn it around. But sometimes a little rest might be just what you need to get away from it.
Yeah, I think it's all about how you feel. If you're playing poorly and not getting results, but you still feel energized, you play through it. But if you are working really hard and getting defeats and you feel deflated and tired, have a break. Now, interestingly enough, you mentioned Whitlock going local league and local tournaments to try and regain some sort of confidence. Did you notice during the week who started to do that with Simon Whitlock?
No.
Andy Hamilton.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's going to be a very, very star-studded league.
Yeah, you imagine those two world finalists turning up in your pub for a local league game.
96. Kevin required
Kevin's performance yesterday was sparkling.
Well, at times it was, but there really was some wild stuff at others, a bit like that dart there. That's what was so odd about it.
If he's got a tendency, it is to hit the 5. He does hook the arm away from the body a lot, but that is a very Joe Cullen checkout.
Well, Glenn Durrant paid the price for a very slow start to the game against Kevin Burness, and Burness took a 2-0 lead with some pretty average stuff, to be honest. Joe Cullen. Oh, well, all of the 5s, all of the 5s. Joe Cullen knows that if he gives Burness a sniff, who has only won, he's won 3 games in ranking tournaments all year, Kevin Burness. It just so happens that one of them is against a 3-time world champion who averaged more than 97 in their matches.
43.
Yeah, I've been studying his average stats in the qualifiers, and they haven't been up to a massive level, but he has missed out on a couple of occasions in very close games. I think you find out what kind of a player you are when you play on the European Tour, and that's where Joe Cullen belongs. But that seeding number has been changing a lot lately, and it's going to change even more if he doesn't start winning.
Yeah, well, he could find himself in the Michael Smith position of not being in the seeds for the first time in years, and having to go to those qualifiers like we will see in Wigan on Friday night for the next 2 European Tour events. It's not panic stations yet for Joe Cullen by any stretch of the imagination, but this year has been significantly poorer in terms of his performances than the last couple of years. Now, he still managed to go on runs and pick up some ranking money on the Pro Tour, but the Euro Tour is where he's done so much of his best stuff over the last couple of years, and that form has just kind of deserted him, and it's got to be frustrating more than worrying at the minute. We see Burness there complaining about the grip on his fingers. He was doing that a lot at the start of his game with Glenn Durrant yesterday. I don't know if it's the heat or what.
Well, the one thing about darts is that the temperatures you play in will differ arena to arena, and it's how your hand, your arm and your body react to the heat or the cold, and sometimes it's just really difficult to adjust. I know that when I played in really hot circumstances, more recently, it never seemed to be a problem in my 20s and my early 30s, but when I got towards 35, 36, as Joe Cullen goes 2-0 up, the hotter atmosphere has made my throwing hand swell up a bit, and it felt foreign. It was really, really weird.
Really?
Yeah.
What, adjust your throwing hand? Like a massive inflatable hand?
Both hands. But it actually felt like it wasn't my hand. I was throwing with someone else's.
Wow.
Just
a medical marvel, Nicholson.
It's adjusting to the heat, isn't it? Or not so.
Well, we have seen players, we mentioned Kyle Anderson yesterday in terms of the effects of weather, and in the cold Kyle Anderson really does struggle against grip. I remember in Minehead he had those sort of hand warmer things, the ones sort of gel packs where you crack them and then they heat up. People always used to take down the football when you go to watch him in December and January. He had a pair of those that he just kept in his pocket to try and keep his hands warm.
Yeah, Peter Wright was the first player I ever saw to use those. Used to take him to Wigan in the winter.
I mean, there's not many. I don't know. What can you do if your hands are getting too hot, though?
Not a lot.
100.
At the minute, Kevin Burness has started this game like he did against Glenn Durrant, but Joe Cullen has taken advantage. He's won the first 2 legs, but only 18 darter and a 19 darter. It's not particularly impressive, but it's enough, and that's what Glenn Durrant didn't do yesterday, and it just allowed Kevin to get a foothold in the game, and it meant that when he did start playing some decent stuff at times towards the back end of the game, it was enough to haul himself over the line.
I heard yesterday after that Glenn Durrant game that it's taking him time to adjust to a new set of darts, and that is the case for someone like Glenn, who doesn't change a lot of his stuff around.
I mean, the thing is, he still averaged not more than 97. I mean, it wasn't a poor display. It was just he missed the bullseye 3 times.
Timing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It was the perfect example of why timing is the crucial factor in this sport. And Joe Cullen here might be about to produce the best leg of the match. And Kevin Burness is nowhere near putting him under pressure. And if you let Cullen play with no pressure at all, he can just glide through games and annihilate.
He can wipe the floor with you. We've seen that predominantly on a Saturday, because his Saturday performances, when you look through his career on the European Tour, the Saturday performances are blistering on many occasions. I think there was about a year ago to 18 months where he turns up on a Saturday and it doesn't matter who he plays, he's going to average somewhere around about 105 to 110 and get rid of it in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, he really has been incredible for the last couple of years, and that is why, look, he could find himself in the position of somebody like Jelle Klaasen, who for a good couple of years, for my money, was the most consistent player behind Van Gerwen on the European Tour. Never got that Euro Tour title. Kept falling short, often beaten by MVG, but it would be quarterfinals and semi-finals. He did get a chance in a final. He was beaten by Alan Norris at the German Darts Championship. And you'd gone from thinking, well, Jelle cannot keep playing this brilliantly and not win one of these at some point. And then when he suffered with injury and form and crisis of confidence, now it doesn't look like Jelle Klaasen is a likely winner of a Euro Tour. Not at the moment. Not saying that he can't get back to that stage. But Joe Cullen, he might be in danger of doing the same, because for the last couple of years it has looked inevitable that Joe Cullen is going to win one of these at some point. And right now, he is not playing particularly well. But we also know that he's got such quality that one weekend it could all just click for him.
And that's what you're hoping for when you're in the spot that Joe's in. And the one he's in right now is pretty favourable. I can say from personal experience that I was a seed in the European Tours from the start, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was constantly there. When I qualified for the first one outside of the seeds, then I didn't go to another one for 3 years.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Double 16 again for Cullen. And he's in again for 4-0. But we haven't seen Klaasen all season. He's missed out in the first 8. We haven't seen Van der Pas either.
Yeah.
People who have been to finals.
Yeah, Benito van der Pas has missed championship darts on the European Tour against a man who could face the winner of this, Peter Snakebite Wright. We will see Wright versus Willie O'Connor in an intriguing World Cup of Darts final rematch.
Well, Peter Wright is starting to play properly again and seems to have his mojo back, that's for sure. But Willie O'Connor is one tricky little customer for Peter Wright tonight. That is no way a gimme.
Yeah, I know. Rob Malarkey was looking at the betting markets for that game. I think the bookies had it at over 4.5 180s was pretty much even money. Well, with the way that Willie O'Connor is banging in the maximums, he hit 6 yesterday. Peter Wright was knocking him in for fun over the course of the World Cup of Darts. Malarkey reckons that's his nap for the day.
That's his nap?
Yes.
I like that. Well, Cullen will be having a nap very soon if he wants, if he can continue to play in this manner, because 170, he's going fishing and he's going to have to go for it now after Burness gets that treble 18.
170.
Comes up shy in the first 60, but the switch is perfect.
Pressure applied. Kevin Burness has had a look at 148, 156. Not got close. Should get close to this. Ball. Oh, it's another bullseye checkout this weekend for the Iron Man. This is a man who is... He's averaging in the 60s here. It's not been very good from Kevin Burness, but he just has these little moments where he shows he can play.
Yeah, it's not vintage by any means. And moments of brilliance don't win you matches. We were talking about consistency earlier, and that's what Joe's shown in his career lately.
95.
But maybe it's something that Kevin is searching for. That's not a bad stat. Actually, the doubles in this match have been amazing.
Well, he's only had 5 scores over a ton. It just so happens that one of them was a 1-2-4 checkout. And he did look, he did improve as the game with Durrant went on yesterday. And the thing is, Glenn hadn't put him away early. So he was given an opportunity to get to the finishing line and get over it.
He played brilliantly in the last leg.
Yeah, the last leg was great. There was Obviously the 1-2-1 checkout late on, but he started finding that treble 20 more regularly. He's starting to do it here. It takes a while for the Kevin Burness machine to lurch into action, but once it does, it's a pretty dangerous opponent. Here we go.
He's got to calibrate a little sooner.
99.
Exactly it.
Joe, you require 129.
There's 79 left. That's the old Dave Pallet route
70.
for 129.
Kevin,
Bull,
you require
treble 19, double 11.
114.
54 needed for a shot at tops. And Cullen comes back. Maybe that was a slight dead cat shot. He was trying to maybe take Burness off his thinking a bit. Because I've never seen Joe go for pull on 129 before.
I wasn't expecting it, I have to say.
Tops. Now 10s.
Game
Now
shot on the
5-1
sixth
for
leg.
Cullen.
Joe
Cruising.
Cullen, seventh leg,
Well,
Kevin the
it
front
is,
first.
as I say,
Game on.
quite a while since Joe Cullen won a ranking game. It was actually in Barnsley on the first day of
30.
May when he did go through to the quarter-finals. Joe Cullen that day. He was beaten by Stephen Bunting. But since then, he lost to Mark Webster in an astonishing game at the Austrian Darts Open. He lost his opening game to Mark McGeaney at the European Darts Grand Prix. He lost to Adrian Gray in the first round in Barnsley. All of those last leg deciders, which perhaps is an indication of where Joe's confidence is at the minute. He also was beaten by Madas Razma, and he was beaten 6-0 by Max Hopp at the Dutch Darts Masters last time out on the European Tour. So it has not been a happy time of it for the rock star, but maybe a comfortable victory here could just banish a few of those lingering doubts that must be going through his head the way that the last few weeks have gone.
You know what, Dan? Some players just need to have the attention taken away from them a little bit for them to shine. There's been a lot of light on Cullen for a long time about his love for the Euro Tour and how close he is going to get to one of these titles. Well, maybe if he can just go under the radar a little bit, he might be able to strike that way. Well, another one of those for double 4 to get it done. And what a way to get it done. 128 in game.
6-1 for Joe Cullen, his first win in more than 6 weeks in PDC action. The rock star, one of the top performers over the last couple of years on the European Tour, looking to recapture some of that form and sets up a shootout for the quarterfinals with either Willie O'Connor or Peter Snakebite Wright tomorrow afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for Kevin Burness. And through to the third round of the action, it's the rock star, Joe Cullen. Joe, congratulations. I mean, obviously, Kevin didn't play anywhere near what he can do, but a comfortable result like that, you're going to take that any day of the week, or not?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm sure Kevin won't mind me saying I was expected to play Glenn, but Kevin played really well and he really deserved the win yesterday, so I knew that I couldn't take it for granted today and just sort of try to keep on top of him, but it was a scrappy game. I was lucky, probably the score didn't really reflect what it was.
Can we look in the crowd? There are a lot of red and black rockstar shirts out there. The support is here in Denmark for Joe Cullen.
Yeah, why not? Why not? No, it's obviously it's confidence booster when you see people in the crowd wearing your shirts. It's great. It's what you dream about when you're starting to come as a kid. So yeah, it's great.
Joe, best of luck in the third round. Ladies and gentlemen, the rockstar Joe Cullen.